Welcome to the Branded Life Podcast with your host, April Gregory, mom to a wonderful man-child, lover of flavored coffee. I'm a believer and energy medicine geek, and of course to you, your brand and marketing strategist. I have found a new level of success in my business, but I was working like a dog chained to my desk. COVID hit, I became booked and busier than ever with no place to go. Guess what I did? I worked more, burning myself down to the ground. And even though I touted that you can create it like you want it, I knew that wasn't it. This wasn't what I wanted. Yes, I had money. Yes, I had cash flow, but I knew it could be better. So since 2021, I've been in rebuilding mode with a strong desire to create it just the way that I want it, working from my gifts, leading with energy, and creating the life with the cash flow to back it up. So join me every single Wednesday as I give you the insider's view on how to rebuild it the way that you want it, prioritizing making your business work for you and getting out into the world and living your brand, enjoying your life. As your brand and marketing strategist, I will empower you to take up space, build a powerful, standout personal brand, and live like you mean it. This is season 2 of the podcast, where we'll be diving into the realities of leadership and entrepreneurship as it relates to personal branding. So let's get into it.
Tanisha, sorry about that. How are you?
Hey girl, you're fine.
Awesome. Happy Friday.
Same to you.
Awesome. So welcome to the Branded Life Podcast. I am here with Tanesha Halstead of Virtually Centered Solutions. Thanks for having your name and information up there. It's easy for us to see you up there. We are happy to have you here. So this is just a good old-fashioned conversation, and I'm going to ask Tanisha to introduce herself. Tell us about her business. Tell us everything. Tell us how you got started. I'm going to pop in here and tell you all how Tanisha and I met, which a lot of you will know. It's through the Ruckus program. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we're just talking about Tanisha and congratulating her. She's one of the winners there. So we'll just be in and out of different parts of wherever we go today. Welcome, Tanisha.
Awesome. So first of all, I was excited for this conversation because we could talk for days.
Yes, we can.
So I was excited about this. So my name is, again, Tanesha Halstead from Virtually Centered Solutions. And it's like so many things to this journey, but the mission here really, I like to say, is where innovation meets purpose. And when I talk about that, it's because our mission is to simplify the tech barrier for small businesses. And I really have a passion for us to make your work smarter, not harder. And most importantly, like foster the growth so these businesses can thrive and create more job opportunities that elevate their communities. So we lend hands with like services like virtual assistant support, social media management, and CRM consulting, but mainly operational consulting.
Nice. I love that. And I love that you said the tech barrier, because sometimes your work can be easier, right? Or you can accomplish things so much faster with the right tech, but it's so much tech. It's like, well, what the heck do I do? What do I use? Matter of fact, you're not even asking the question. So most entrepreneurs, we're hard workers, and so we're going to roll up our sleeves and go after it, and we likely don't even know that there's a tool for that. There's a tech for that. And so you're bringing that, you're literally saying, hey, and then there's so many things. We also see people using things they shouldn't be using at this stage of their business, right? And so they're paying all this money. They're not using it efficiently and effectively. And that's why I love your business so much, because it's so important, especially in this whole, the world of innovation, right?
It is moving so fast. I don't know if you're hearing it, but I hear an echo from my end.
I do not.
Okay, let me make sure on my end. Okay, it went away. But yeah, you're so right. Things are moving so fast. And I'm so glad you brought up that point, because I was just talking with someone probably about a week ago that there are a lot of tools out there. And just speaking from my own experience, when I got in business, I went with what the gurus and the girlies said. And I didn't really understand my business. And I talk about it passionately because I too have wasted money because I had tools and systems that, maybe I signed up for the trial because so-and-so said this was good. And then they hit me with that annual subscription. I was like, oh man, I meant to cancel that. Or, someone said this is how you should use a CRM to onboard your clients, but I wasn't there. Like, so
Hmm.
I
It
speak
wasn't even necessary. And
wasn't at all.
here us entrepreneurs, here us people, especially you, the newer non-tech people, and I tend to attract a lot of non-tech people. They want to know what's the latest, what should I be doing? I'm just starting out, or I'm moving over here, or I was using this tool, or I'm familiar with that tool. Listen, Tanisha Halstead is your person to help you get that together, get your tech life all the way together, get your operations together. And so yeah, tell people. I think even just getting a consultation with you will help them to know, like, don't go down this road, because like you and I, we've had many conversations, and we're like testers. We're testing this
Hmm.
and that, just
Yeah,
for ourselves and for our clients and for the people we serve. So you're testing things for people
all
all
the
the
time.
time.
I have
Yeah.
shiny tech syndrome. But I'm
It comes
getting
with
better.
the job description. Right? You
I have
play with the
shiny tech
toys.
syndrome. I get really geeked out. I actually hosted a workshop in December, and I was like talking about different tools, and I was like, I am not going to word vomit on y'all because it'll just be a whole mess, and everybody be running around looking at all the tools. We're gonna just line it up and keep it right here on the track. We're not going to go anywhere else. But yeah, so definitely getting a consultation because every business is unique.
Hmm.
And similar to what I said earlier, like everyone doesn't need everything. And I talk to clients or like even like in talking to business friends, say the best tool is a tool you're actually going to use. So
Mm.
maybe you need to be in a Google Doc and then eventually move up to something like Airtable or something like that. So it's also understanding like starting where you are and not rushing
Mm.
in the race. But another way, we're actually launching in February a 5-day challenge. It's business
Mm.
automation reset. So that is
Mhm.
another way for your audience and even mine to be able to, again, lower that tech barrier. First, understand what their process is, and then the goal is to come out with one process documented and have some automation in place. I'm also a firm believer that everything doesn't need to be automated, and it shouldn't, but we
Mm.
need to look and understand first what our process is, and then
Mhm.
we could say, okay, well, I could eliminate maybe 5 of these 7 things that I was doing. So,
Mm. Yeah, and that's
yeah,
huge.
yeah,
5 out of the 7, that's huge.
yeah. But if we don't understand what we're doing, we're not going to be able to see the opportunity of what we can automate. So that's what we'll be going through in that challenge. We're going to be sharing it with our email subscribers first, and then we will put it out to the masses.
Yeah, so get on Tanisha Halstead's email list, people. So I like that. I like that you said, so it has to be a process, because what the tech world, and rightfully speaking, they're good at convincing you that you need to think, right? Because they're selling you the outcome, this big, you don't have to do it anymore ever. You just put it in here, set it and forget it. That's the message
Mhm.
mostly, right?
Yes, for
until you
sure.
sign until you sign up. So I heard two things you come out of your mouth. You said, one, everything should not be automated, and they like, I guess you'll give us an example or two, or and I'm guessing it also depends on the business, right? Everything
Yeah.
shouldn't be automated. And then don't be fooled by it. Like you're gonna, those two steps may not be automated. You might, there's still something else for you to do. So, oh, and the other thing you said was, um the best tool is the one that you're going to use.
Hmm. And I say that from personal experience. Because we were talking through live stream at the end of December too, talking about really looking, this is the time of the year to look at your tech stack, basically all the tech tools that you have, the software and everything like that. Just like how we look and we gather in our stuff for our taxes and all this other stuff, we need to do that as well. We need to make
Mhm.
sure that we are not overlapping on some of the tools. which is still wasting money, or we've had something that we haven't used a whole year that we've paid for. Prime example, I was in a community and I saw someone who mentioned they had a learning platform that they've been paying for like over 2 years. Like
And
you're not putting out any, you're not making money off of that. So technically you're losing money. So it's
mm,
like just even looking at tools like that. I said that one just as an example, but just really auditing what we have to make sure,
mhm,
one, we're not overlapping and not using, and two, um, all these tools nowadays are quickly advancing. So sometimes something that you've already paid for, they may have upgraded what they're offering.
mm,
And instead of looking to see if what we had already has it, we go buy the next thing because the girlies and the gurus said, this is the next best thing. But you've added a cost to yourself. Meanwhile, you have something that's already doing a function of that already. So,
love that.
so
That's so
just some
good.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so good. That's a power tip. So pay attention to the updates when of tools you're already using because they're fast they're and they know they're competing with each other.
Yes.
They know who their competitors are, and so that's a really good idea to really be paying attention to that.
Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure.
Nice, nice, nice. So, Tanisha, we met in EPI, Entrepreneurs Pioneer Initiative. We're pioneers over here, right? It's a 9-month program it really covers every aspect of your business. And my strength is marketing. So I tend to know and dive deep into marketing because it's my profession, right? And then
Yeah.
these other areas for me is like, okay, I
It's like,
manage.
let me put my toe in it just a little bit.
Yeah, do bare minimum what I need to do, and so that's why I like the program. But that's how we met and we connected, and there was a prize to that. There was so for me the ultimate prize for me was actually having a growth plan, and like the big Kahuna prize for you is that you actually won grant money for your business, and so I'm so happy about that, and I'm thankful to even be interviewing the winners, right? Because it's important for small businesses like ours to have access to all of the coaching and the finance coaching, the business coaching. All of the teachers were rich in their experiences, and then you
Yeah.
go and win a pot of gold
What a
to
surprise. Oh my goodness.
to do even more work. So talk to us about that. Like, how was that? Because it was a surprise. I was there. I saw you.
I could not hide my composure. I think my mouth hit the ground, okay? Because as you know, from being there, we didn't expect that there were any more winners. So it was definitely a surprise, but a definitely positive surprise. And man, I really can't even put words into it. The program in itself was game changing for me. The growth plan was a win, and it goes even further than, of course, I'm not going to say no, winning money isn't good. The money was great. It's helpful and it provides access to fund different things that we flushed out through the growth plan. But at the same time, the program itself, it just goes so far beyond that funding. Like you said, the big win was coming out of there with some clarity on the next 3 years. And
Mm.
even if I don't follow it necessarily to the T, I feel like this is the most centered I've felt in building a sustainable business.
Oh, I can breathe in on that. Like the
Yeah.
most centered. That's a whole vibe in itself.
Yeah, and no pun on words for virtually centered.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, yeah, that's great. Well, well, you
No
would
pun
know
on
what centered
words.
feels like, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was just
I agree.
that part of it is, to me, the when I thought about it, the biggest takeaway, because I'm not gonna lie again, I drank the Kool-Aid when I started my business. My business is online based, so it's a different crowd than dealing with local or even brick and mortar businesses. So
Mm.
I drank the Kool-Aid with some things, and like you said, we focused on, marketing and all the front-facing things and delivering products, but not necessarily taking a step back to look at our holistic view of our business,
Mm-hmm.
which is what the Rutgers EPI program sat me down to do.
Sat us down, all the way
Yes,
down.
all the way
Right.
down.
Yeah, and it was not. It wasn't a plaything. It wasn't you show up when you want to. It was. There were requirements that
Yeah,
had to be met, even for you to win a grant, right? So
yeah,
that was the baseline. Even though we thought there were just going to be two winners, there were so many other winners, but there's a requirement to even get to that point, right?
yeah.
And so that's what I also like, the structure and the requirements, because otherwise it's like there are no boundaries. You do what you want to do. Well, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna focus. I gotta go back. I got plenty of things to do.
Yeah.
So it forced you. Really sat us down to say
Yes.
your business is important. We know it's important, and these are the requirements for you to be in this program. And then they had so many collaborators and people helping us to
Sure.
focus in on what's important to grow our business, because it's not what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Even you saying that, now that I breathe in on,
Mm,
because um, reflecting on another takeaway was I've always kind of had an idea of my numbers because I'm just a tracker by nature. So I've
mhm.
had a spreadsheet and then we eventually got into QuickBooks. I got a bookkeeper. But I'm gonna be honest, I sat back. Like I was like, that gif about the girl that she sits on the bed and she's kind of like sit back like this. That was me because I thought, okay, that's your lane of expertise. Let me stay in mine. But what I took away from the program was one, thinking with the end in mind as far as strategy, and then tying that into managing by my numbers.
Mm,
So tying it into pricing to um, it forced me to really look at like what is it costing me to
mm,
do these services? What is it costing me to have team members? What is it costing me to go to these events and stuff like that? And just looking at not just the bottom line, but like the nitty gritty costs. So for me, that was a big takeaway. Maybe look at the value of the services that I provide differently.
it
So
did.
that was a huge takeaway for me.
Yeah, managing by the numbers. It was that I agree with you on that point. I had the cost of doing business for me, cost of services. I had never calculated for myself. I
Not
knew
in that way for me.
generally, I knew generally, but it wasn't exact. And being exact helps me to see what I can and can't do in this service packaging.
Yes,
Right? So it's like, oh, it's so I'll just throw this in. No, 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 no. There's a cost for me to throw that in, and
exactly.
I'm absorbing the cost. Right?
Mm-hmm.
More than likely, when you don't manage this way, when you don't manage by the numbers, then you're like, for me, I know that was my thing. It was like, oh well, I can make it up over here. I can make it up over there. Why not? Why
Yeah.
make it up when you're this is what it costs? It has to match the energy. That's the energy we
Hmm.
want to really be matching, right?
Yes. I'm more with that abundant energy.
Right, exactly. So I love that was your takeaway too. It's huge for me, and
It was huge.
I could easily avoid going that deep into the numbers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I not easily. I did. I knew just enough, but it gave me new perspective, for sure. And that's why I said, like, yeah, of course, I celebrate winning the grant, but at the same time, the tools and tips and the resources that they provided through the Rutgers EPI program just go so much further
Hmm.
than that.
Nice, nice. I love it. And it naturally, we're not talking about leadership, but it naturally helps you to be a better leader in your business, because now you're leading your business and it's not leading you because you're in the
Mm,
dark about what's really happening.
that part.
I
Girl.
know. It's like
That one.
it's
That
like,
was
okay,
it.
we're CEO and we're entrepreneuring. This is what it is. And people are glamorizing. being an entrepreneur
Mm,
and making it seem like it's just you get up and do exactly what you want to do, which we chose this life, right? Or
yeah,
the
and
life
it's still a
it
passion.
chose us. It's a passion. When you choose this life and you're passionate about it, there is work to be done, but you have
Yes.
the juice and the energy to really go after it. And sometimes I know you have these experiences too. You're literally working for hours and hours and you didn't even recognize that
Mm,
you were, it's like, oh my God. Like when you get in
yes.
that zone of work and really getting it
That
done.
tunnel vision is what
Yes.
I say. It's very easy. And I think it's still something to be said about that because that's even when the math ain't mathing, um, we
Exactly.
still keep going and it even with the hurdles and things like that, you persevere because of the passion. So I still think you glamorize the fact that I actually listened to this Win the Day motivational audio in the morning, and he talks about glamorizing your passion. He talks
Mm.
about really admiring what you do when nobody's watching.
This episode is brought to you by the Roadmap Marketing Intensive. Ever feel like you're trapped in a marketing maze, uncertain of which path will lead you to your goals? If you've been wrestling with finding the right strategy and timing for your business, you're not alone. In a sea of conflicting advice, this platform, that algorithm, that platform, it's so easy to feel lost. If you're tired of the one-size-fits-all marketing strategies that don't align with where you are and who you are, then I like to introduce you to the Roadmap Marketing Intensive, your GPS out of the confusion. No more spinning your wheels, just a clear direction tailored to your unique business journey. Go to www.wonderwomanmarketing.com/roadmap.
Nice. That's a different
So
perspective.
yeah, it's different. So, when I laughingly say the math ain't mathing, like things aren't always great, but still having that passion for what you do and seeing the value in it before the outside might see it is
Yes.
like what is like every day.
Yeah, I think it's necessary, right? I think that part is a necessary thing to like because it helps sales, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to sell something that's not really amazing for the client,
yeah,
right? There isn't an amazing outcome waiting for them if they were to do our service, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, so I love glamorizing and I love that you brought in that distinction there because when I say glamorizing it to the point of like it make just the unrealistic views about what it is,
Mm.
right? And it
Like
is
I'm
it
on the
is
beach every
yeah,
day
no, yeah. And
even
a lot of
though
us,
for some it's possible, but
it
again,
is possible.
we have different lifestyles and that might not be everybody's goal or
It,
aspiration for what they
yeah,
do in their business.
I have a friend who that's what she liked to do. She's a web designer and she wanted the nomad life and she loved exploring beaches.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where she set up shop, different beaches. That's
I
not my
love it
thing.
for her.
Yeah, I love that for her. There's so many ways to do this thing here.
Yeah.
But that's totally not my thing. I know a person who went to France for a whole month because she
Mm,
could, right? Because Airbnb is a thing. You don't
yeah.
have to make a strong commitment. Um, and you can go, she can go there and spend the month and work there, just adjusting her schedule and her life. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is our lifestyle. We put our passion, we can feed our passions, and so that's what I do love about it. But I think glamorizing in the way you spoke about a minute ago is so amazing because we have to believe in it because that's
Mm,
sales. If you're not believing in the thing,
yeah.
it's hard to sell it. If that's just my view of it.
And
Now
it's
some
hard to
people
keep
selling
going because
right.
you're gonna be in an ebb and a flow. And
Mm,
sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high. And, I'll just speaking candidly, I was in an ebb and
mm-hmm,
it wasn't necessarily flowing last year. And
mm-hmm,
so going through the Rutgers EPI program was the right timing
mm.
because it regrouped and refueled my passion. It's
Nice.
like, it was like girl, you know what you're talking about. You have value. Like, check yourself, get together. Like,
Yeah.
so it was definitely the right timing, and the clarity was needed to refuel
Yeah.
the glamorizing.
Right. Yeah, and the foundation, it's the behind, it's what's happening behind underneath this business. Like to me with the EPI program, it's like what's happening underneath this
Yeah.
growth plan. I remember when they said we were going to have a growth plan and it was going to take us that amount of time to get it done, and I thought, why is it going to take us all this time?
Because
And
people
what
plan in like 30 minutes, right? Like,
it's like 30 minutes. No, no, no. This is not a 30-minute thing. This is it's like 9 months versus baby.
yeah.
And it was really like a rebirthing
Mm.
your business. But now you have, I love pulling up my spreadsheet to look
Me
at the numbers.
too.
I love pulling up the spreadsheet to say, okay, this is what we projected for
Hmm.
January 2024. And so what needs to happen for these projections to be projecting?
Hello. That part. Um,
So, yeah.
yes. No, so I feel you on that, because funny enough, I felt like I was in this in between of easing into January or easing into the new year, but because of what we had worked on, I was ready. And I didn't go, totally hit the ground running, even though it feels like it because we had all these things launching, but um at the same time, it didn't feel like pressured, or I mean, it feels calm, it feels aligned, it feels like just a heavy pouring of gratitude and service that's pouring into what's coming out in this particular season of the business. And for that, I'm grateful.
Nice, nice. So what do you have? Are you sharing anything? What you said, you
Yeah,
have some launches and a lot of things are launching. We like to hear about
yeah, we
launches.
have a few things. So we actually just launched our weekly live stream, which is going to be, it's called the Tech Fuss Made Easy with myself, Tanisha Halstead. So it's going to be live streams where we have a couple themes inside of it, where we're going to go through, of course, talking about tools and tips and tricks, because that's just who I am.
That's just who you are.
And then we'll also talk about, we talked earlier about those who might be new and they're, looking to get into automation. We'll talk about best practices, some helpful tips with that. And we'll also talk about for those who have been in business and maybe you've been using a tool that's not serving you,
Mhm.
and having the confidence to be able to try something new could be game changing for you. So we'll go through different things like that. And listen, I call them friends of the neighborhood. And I want to have some guest interviews, and have people come on, showcase their talents. There's enough food on the table for everybody. So just being able to build community in that way.
Mhm.
So we'll be hosting that live stream every Thursday at 8 p.m. We stream to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Pick your
Nice.
your favorite place, and come hang out with us. And then we'll also be launching the 5-day challenge, the business automation reset, in
Mhm.
February, for those who are looking to really simplify how they work and just reset, just
Mhm.
reset.
Love it. Nice. Very, very good. So you hear what Tanisha Hall said. You can plug into her and you can find her on LinkedIn and those other platforms and join the challenge, right? Rethink your tech. Look at what you're doing just to make sure you're maximizing your money, right? In your time, your energy. So
That
important.
all of that. So
Yeah. So what do you have any tools that you're recommending us look at with that being said? I know it's like, well, it depends, but
I know it's so many. But okay, so I can share. So one of the tools that we've been currently using for our inbox management
mhm.
is a tool called SaneBox. So with this
Is it
tool,
Sane? SANE?
mhm,
Inbox. Okay.
So this is a tool that uses a little bit of AI and automation to sort our emails when they come in. So it leaves like the most important thing. We've trained it over time to leave like the most important thing so I can respond or we can respond right away in the inbox. And then all the newsletters go to one place, and then we have a later one where something might be important that we need to reply to, but we'll reply to it later. So, with this tool, it does its thing first of all, but you have to train it over time as it learns your email and things like that. But
Mm.
that took away, I like to share tools in the respect of how it helped our team. So,
Mhm.
that used to be something we either had filters for or my team member, she would go in and manually kind of move things. She does not do that anymore.
Wow.
If we do have to do that, it's minimal compared to that. I haven't felt so that my email was so manageable in a long time, but that's something that we've been using.
No more email monster like digging through and figuring it out.
No, I would go above and be so yeah, so we do use another tool to make sure we follow up with things. So I use ClickUp for project management.
Mhm.
So that is how sometimes I get asked a question about if you have a team member managing your emails, like how can collaborate with them? And so what we do is take it out of the inbox so it's not clogging up and you're not reading something two or three times. We have some integrations, but this is not what we're here for. I'm just
No, and I love it. So thank you for that tip. And I was thinking as you were
no.
talking about
I'm
it,
just kidding because I can really geek out over this
no,
stuff.
I'm right there with you, and I'm pretty sure there's some other people there too. And I'm thinking we're gonna do Tanisha. Let's do another. Let's bring you back for some geeking out on tech
Yeah,
tools of 2024. Things that maybe just a few tools that people need to have in the toolkit based on scenarios or something. So stay
yeah.
stay tuned, people. We might be coming back to you with something like that for Tanisha to really school us on some of these tools. That because that's a great concept. Like if you're a project manager and your office is running projects and you need to use, there's a tool that you need to use, and everything stays within that tool, that within that platform. The communication is not lost in your email box, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going back like, oh my God, I missed that email. Communication stays in that thing. Like
Yeah.
maybe knowing the difference when you're doing what goes in there, projects, right? And then your regular standard newsletters and communication that comes through the
Yeah,
email.
because in my mind, if it's something that you can answer in 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
we just leave that managed in the inbox. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
something where, for instance, I've done outreach for speaking engagements and things of that nature where we have to go back and forth in conversation. Those are it's a project. And
Oh,
I talked to someone probably about last week. When we hear project management and tools and things like that, we think that it's overly complex. But something I want to actually work on communicating this year is that um, your day to day is a project. It
right.
your day to day is a project, even though it sounds very gory hearing that word like that. But I I want to, I guess, destigmatize it being so complex.
Mm.
So there's ways for it to help you in your everyday, and that's actually part of the reason for the challenge and why we're going to be talking about like everyday
Mm.
admin task stuff, not overly complex stuff.
Nice. I love that. Treating your outreach to speaking engagements, keep using your that tool for that, because it is a project. I never thought of it that way. Thank you for that. That's awesome to even think of it in that way. That's a switch.
Mm.
Wonder how many other things could be switched over because we're still managing them in our email box, but it's a project. And if everything was lined up in that Interesting. I like it. I like it a lot.
I see you thinking about
Yeah,
it.
I am thinking, oh my God, what other things are in my inbox that shouldn't be? That's what
Yeah,
having these conversations is
yeah,
supposed to do, right?
that
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, wow. All right. Thank you, Tanisha. So anything else you want to, any wisdom? I wanted to ask you, how did you start your business? Virtually Centered Solutions. Were you always just super organized and this was natural? I like to hear.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I was and I wasn't. So the business actually started, and funny, many people don't know this, but it started in 2019 as a single mom just looking to make extra income.
Mm,
And it grew from there. I've always had a passion for, organization and stuff like that, but it grew over time and refined to being a business. When I
mm,
realized, I'm like, oh, people pay people to be a virtual assistant.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so it grew over the years. But I actually share when I like present that I explain about that I'm a single mom of two teenage boys now who
Mm-hmm.
are very active. They play like a sport like every season. They're in like mentoring programs, all the things. And
Mm-hmm.
I share that with people because it goes back to me talking about when we hear project management, we think that it's a big, gory like thing. But home management is
Mm,
project management as well.
yeah.
And so when I talk about these things, it's not just because of business. It not only helped the business, it helped my personal life as
Mm-hmm.
well because we have a lot of moving parts at home. So that's how the business started. I really was just looking to make a little extra income and not take away from my kids being able to do their activities because I needed to make extra income. But it grew to so much more. Like
Nice.
I wasn't thinking big enough, but
Mm,
there are people in my community or people that I've surrounded myself with that I'm very grateful and I say that I'm nothing without the people in my village and my support system because I wouldn't have thought what it is today. That's not what I thought years
mm.
ago.
I need
And
a little
we're
extra money. Let me get a little extra money for, do some things, keep my kids happy. And now it's a
yeah,
full-fledged business where
yeah,
you're being recognized by Rutgers and their sponsors and the entire entrepreneurship community and saying,
yeah,
hey, we see you and here's a grant to back that up. Full-fledged
yeah,
business.
yeah.
Wow.
So I
I love
used
it.
to joke and say to my sister as things started growing, I actually
Mhm.
said it to my sister and my mom, I was like, I'm running a business, but now I feel like I have a business.
Yes, I love that. I know. And even with EPI, I felt like I came in saying I'm running a business. After it's like, no, I'm running a business.
Yes,
This is um because it's just so you're at it. You're so doing. You're getting it done. You're getting clients. You're doing this work, and
yeah,
it's like, no, this is a legitimate. This is the
it's
real.
a business.
Nice. I love that.
So
All
yeah.
right. So tell us, Tanisha, again, your website. Give us your website. We already know you're plugged in on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as Tanisha Halstead, or we do also have our business page, Virtually Centered Solutions. But I like to connect with the people. So you can connect with me as Tanisha Halstead on Instagram. And then the website is www.virtuallycenteredsolutions with an s.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tanisha. I'm so excited, and I hope you will come back and share some tech stack wisdom for the entrepreneurs out here because we do need to get our tech lives together and make sure we're not
Yay.
overspending and we're efficient and effective and we're moving with the times, right?
That part.
Yeah, awesome.
I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me.
You are so welcome.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode and conversation, subscribe to the Branded Life podcast on your favorite and easiest podcast platform and leave me a review. Let me know what resonated with you. Then for insight, tips, conversation on branding, marketing, leadership, growing your business, connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube using my name, April Gregory or Wonder Woman Marketing. See you next week in the next episode.